All right, so we finally have some of our first looks at the Encanto attraction coming to Disney's Animal Kingdom, a park very much in need of some attractions. And it looks like we finally have ride vehicles here for the Encanto attraction. This one looks like you're riding on a piano. It seems like the casita has come to life and is using the furniture to construct ride vehicles for you here. This looks to be a nice outside bench and a piano in front, an inside couch, and some kind of entertainment center. I'm sure the casita itself removed the Xbox from the second and third panels here before it constructed this attraction here, and here we go. What do you think about the ride vehicles, first of all, Vash?
The ride vehicles are very, very interesting because at first glance, it's kind of like, doesn't quite look like what we may have had in mind leading up to all of this. Some people actually saying they might be trackless. I know we have more information on that. But overall, I mean, the designs themselves, they're original. There's no question about that. They're not your traditional standard ride vehicles, and they look to be of different designs, which is kind of cool. We don't typically see that. So, and overall, I give them a 7. Not bad.
Yeah, I like these ride vehicles, and you're right. There is a question here. Also, who's going to be stepping on those things? Somebody's going to try to play those piano keys. That's my concern here.
That's true.
So, as we can see, my response was that doesn't look like an Omni mover to me, which is my source, which is actually someone else in the space that has been kind enough to share what their source has been sharing. It's not pro that I'm talking about here. There's a respectable website out there that doesn't post nearly as often as they should have. We were having a conversation about this one and how great this attraction could be if it was like Mystic Manor, a legendary attraction that is only out there at Hong Kong Disney, number one super park. Hong Kong Disney has Mystic Manor because they didn't want to do Phantom Manor out there or Haunted Mansion because they have a very different view of the afterlife, and the idea of malignant spirits, I think, is not the same, or malignant dead spirits. So they did Mystic Manor, fantastic attraction, really cool stuff. You're going around and the walls are falling and all that. So I was under the impression that this is what they were doing, and then I was corrected. No, the plan is Omni mover here. So I say here, hey, does not look like an Omni mover. And this fella right here says it's always been trackless. You're just not catching up. There was more to this interaction, and some of it appears to have been deleted, where this person identified themselves as a person who works for Disney and said that they don't represent the view of the company. It's a very interesting back and forth. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This one was deleted by the author. I'm not going to put him on blast, but it was someone saying that, yeah, I do think it's going to be a Omni mover. Here he says, always been trackless, and that's what he's heard from his peers, speaking for Disney. So I guess we could say Disney responded. And then this person comes in with the patent, which I would not be shocked if Vash is the kind of guy who already has a view of this patent. But looking here, we obviously see the overhangs. If you're familiar at all with Encanto the movie, this looks like the inner courtyard of the casita there in Colombia. This would be where you would assume to see someone holding the candle. Looks like it's an actual person. I'm going to guess that 168 here is an animatronic of a person. But looking right here, those look like wheels and a track to me. But this is a patent drawing. It's not. It's probably more reliable than concept art by the Disney company, because we all know how reliable concept art is from the Disney company. But this does appear to be a track vehicle to me. I don't know. Vash, am I reaching for straws? Am I defending something that doesn't need to be defended?
No. It looks like a track vehicle to me as well. Now, obviously, those trackless vehicles do have wheels on them, but because there is kind of a track that is being followed right here. It wouldn't surprise me. Like you said, looks like the casita to me. And so a lot of people were putting together pieces. Is Disney going to be using this technique in order to bring something like verticality to life? Which, that's the problem with trackless vehicles, or even vehicles that are that are tracked at times. They don't really have the ability to incline. They don't have ability to climb like a roller coaster can. So the idea of maybe simulating that, I could definitely see why that would be advantageous to somebody like
Right.
Disney creating this.
Right. So, on that note, the idea of the patent itself, as opposed to the track, is Disney patents new illusion to simulate elevation change without any movement. And my response to this is, okay, but what if you made it fun? Uh, I had a conversation with a high level developer one time for a video game, for several video games you all have heard of, and he was talking about working in virtual reality. Most of the games that you would know him for are not virtual reality games, but he talked about in taking early steps in virtual reality, uh, how easy it is to just induce vomiting in the player, induce nausea like immediately in a player. And he pointed to a game, Resident Evil 7, I think. Was that the one that was virtual reality kind of as a primary on it? Um, that that he said that there were no adjustments made to that game in order to stop people from feeling this unsettling nausea in making the game. So he had a
Mm,
lot of complaints in working on VR and trying to get to know it better and using that game in particular. This person would be horrified to be mentioned on that Park Place. But when I see technology like this, I just feel like it's a cop out. It's going to be better than Fast and Furious Supercharged. It is, no question in my mind.
mhm,
It's probably going to be a better ride, well, or at least better than some of the tunnel sections in Skull Island, The Rise of Kong,
mhm,
or Reign of Kong, or whatever collection of words that is. But
mhm.
this is not fun to me. You don't brace yourself for an actual feeling when you do something like this. You go, oh
Right.
look, oh I don't feel so good. That's weird. Why did I feel bad? To me, this is not the direction that Disney needs to go. It's simulated fun, and I would rather have actual fun if I'm being a cranky old man here.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree with you. I think I look at this kind of technology, right, and I'm reminded of the illusion that's used by the Imagineers, by Tony Baxter, back for the Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland, right? And you'll note that the boulder actually comes at you, and the walls move in such a way that simulates you backing up, and that's to get around the design limitation of those EMVs back in the 1990s, that they couldn't actually back up. So to give you that sensation, the walls move instead of your actual vehicle. It's very, very cool, but obviously there's a purpose for it being there, and it really does give you the sensation like you are backing up, especially when you have Indy up there actually, saying as much, and it's very, very cool. When I see something like this, like you said, you can simulate an incline, but it doesn't really feel like an incline. There's really no way of getting around that particular aspect. Now, I'll defend Disney a little bit and say that, well, maybe they were looking at it from the standpoint of, well, we don't want to necessarily have a high height requirement for this attraction. So any incline, maybe with a drop after it, might actually induce that, which I suppose is fine, but you don't necessarily have to drop from an incline. You can just have an incline. It's very possible to do that right there. So I don't know. I just kind of look at this kind of stuff, and well, it's interesting. I don't necessarily see the value in it because of that lack of simulation or of feeling, like you said there, Jonas. The other thing too is very interesting. So looking over Mickey Views' video, and he recently published one going on about Space Mountain and how Disney, at least in the modern era, is looking to like kind of get away from airtime moments and rides, because the thought process being that personal possessions, could fly out in that instance.
Oh
And
my.
so this tempering down of thrill, it's really kind of a big problem there, Jonas.
Yeah,
It is
I
happening.
yeah, I understand why they would do that, and all that does is give ground to Epic Universe and to Universal. Obviously, they have a Universal Studios Hollywood as well, but Universal Studios is going to fill in everywhere that Disney gives up ground.
Hmm.
And Space Mountain is a fun attraction. It's a little bit of a little bit of a backbreaker anymore because it's an old attraction. But I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few years they replace the and this is not going off of any sources. This is just a gut feeling and maybe a couple of things I've read here and there on the internet. I wouldn't be
Hmm.
surprised if Space Mountain at Walt Disney World ends up getting replaced with something more like Earthrise, which is a
Right.
modern track and probably something more like the Guardians of the Galaxy ride system.
Hmm.
Vash, you would probably know more about the ride system on that one than I do.
Yes, yeah. There were some photos actually taken of these coaster cars actually making their way into Space Mountain Earthrise, as it's been revealed in the last couple of days. That's going to be the name for this thing, and they're saying onboard audio. They're saying a launched system right there, and so with this 360-degree spinning aspect that Intamin has, they're installing in Hollywood Drift, and that's not going extremely well. But apparently, this manufacturer is going to be Intamin, and they may actually be implementing that system. We did get kind of a look at the ride vehicles at D23, but some people are actually saying, wait a minute, these things don't line up. The photos from the ground and what they've actually shown. So people are kind of like, is this Space Mountain Earthrise? Or, like you said, Jonas, is this Space Mountain Magic Kingdom? So it's kind of created some kind of a debate right there, which is very interesting. When it comes to this attraction, though, for Encanto, we may have the manufacturer of this actual ride system revealed to us, actually thanks to Scott Walker looking into some shipping orders here.
Yeah. Do you have that? Do you have that available here?
I do. Let me go ahead and get you my screen right here, and that way I can go ahead and take you through a little bit of what I've got.
Yep.
There you
Here.
go.
Let's go
From
for it.
From WW Magic, Encanto ride vehicle revealed at D23. Analysis suggests it spins, pitches, and rolls on a tracked system. This by two hours ago by the staff there at WW Magic. Shipping records and this weekend's D23 fan event in Anaheim are painting a clearer picture of what the Encanto attraction at Tropical Americas might actually be. Based on our analysis, it looks like a tracked dark ride using a system from German ride manufacturer Zero
Carousel.
Carousel? Yes.
Yeah.
Though Disney.
I'm sure it's just the German word for carousel.
Sounds like it. Though Disney has not officially announced the system vendor. You can see from Scott Walker right here, he actually had some shipping manifests that contained both the manufacturer, this Zero here, and also that they were going to Walt Disney Imagineering, that this might actually be for Encanto itself, which is very, very interesting. And if we take the assemblage of all of this information, it might actually be something like this. So this is from their Zero's official YouTube channel, showing off their Ghostbusters themed attraction over there in Germany. Kind of see how that looks like. I'm not going to play all of it, but you can kind of see the pitch, yaw, motion, tracked based nature of it, and these vehicles very similar to what's actually on screen. So it's got a lot of people wondering, Jonas, if in fact this is the type of operation they might ultimately be going for.
Yeah. Man, I would love to ride a Ghostbusters attraction. I think you all know that I see those screens and I cringe. But yeah,
Wow.
it's your job to give me the fun. It's not my job to shoot the things and make the fun myself. Anyways, yeah, Toy Story Mania. That's a good comment there. So I think that the Encanto ride probably going to be one of the better rides at Disney's Animal Kingdom. I think they're taking their time. This is not a situation where we look at Better Together and kind of go, oh, okay. You're changing that a lot. Which, by the way, we're hearing that they're going to be changing Better Together again. So this would be great for Disney's Animal Kingdom finally get its 10th attraction here, and I personally am in the omnivover camp on this one. It sounds like Vash. I don't know that ride system that we're looking at there. That doesn't. I wouldn't call that an omnivover.
I wouldn't
What
call
would
that
you
one
call that?
either.
But
That's why I've been a little bit like surprised if in fact that's the route they actually go. There's certainly some evidence suggesting that it is, but like you said, Jonas, I think an omnimover would be actually the safer bet for a multitude of reasons, not the least of which being capacity, right? Animal Kingdom needs rides for families that are high capacity that people can actually enjoy together right there. Maybe a plus 2,000 people an hour type configuration, and that ride system just doesn't look like it to me. So we still have a lot of unanswered questions that hopefully get answered tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.